the frigid North Atlantic. October water temperatures here hover around 40 degrees. Scientists say if you fall in water like this without protection, you can die in as little as 15 minutes. It's stormy out here. We're off the coast of Greenland, and this is typical fall weather. The waves are 6 to 8 meters, 20 to 26 feet high. They're battering our 400-foot boat. This ship is bringing thousands of tons of cargo from Portland, Maine to Reykjavik, Iceland. No one has slept in 2 days. The furniture, our dinner, our bodies, the entire boat are on the receiving end of penalty kicks from the sea. Why the heck am I here? This saga starts with a very small fruit. Our story is set against 3 dramatic landscapes: the lava fields of Iceland, the brilliant but barbaric North Atlantic Ocean, and the boulder-filled blueberry barrens of down east Maine, first harvested by Native Americans thousands of years ago. You're going on this adventure with me, TV journalist Dustin Bukowski, and that guy, cameraman Kirk Craddy.
You have to laugh to keep from crying.
We want to put a human face on Maine's economy in the 21st century. Maybe phrases like tariffs, trade wars, and made in China are making their way into your dinner conversations. Maybe they're not. Either way, if you live in Maine, millions of your dollars were spent over the past few years to revamp a container terminal in Portland. The terminal has built a metaphoric bridge of sorts, allowing Maine companies to import and export all kinds of stuff: fish, cars, windmill parts to Europe and beyond. Whether you realize it or not, there's a good chance the device you're watching this show on and the components that make it up have traveled thousands and thousands of miles to get to you. But how does that journey happen, and who makes it happen? How does something grown or supplied in Maine turn into something that's demanded somewhere else? And why is this link so important that Maine is spending millions and millions of dollars to make it happen? We're going to explore the answers to those questions by following that very small fruit I mentioned as it's turned into jam, then sent across the ocean to Iceland. Enter the wild blueberry. These tiny beads of flavor are the protagonist of our story. They're BB-sized, much smaller than their high-bushed cousins, which you can find in just about every grocery store. While Maine lobster has a lot of street cred, the state literally grows tons of blueberries. The University of Maine says Maine is the largest producer of wild blueberries in the world and grows 10% of all blueberries produced in North America. We're going to find out who grows the berries, who makes them into jam, who makes sure the jam doesn't end up in the sea on its way to Iceland, and where the jam ends up once it's there.
Secure everything.
Our tale has sea captains, volcanoes, glaciers, and most importantly, great food.
I'm just going to pour one jar for you, and then I'll cap it. Oh, there we go.
Looks like you've done this a time or two.
Oh, I think I have just like a muscle in this arm just for that.
This is Marie Emerson, and she spent a lifetime with the fruit at the center of both our story and Maine's history.
I came here in 1974 with the Back to the Land movement. I read the book Helen and Scott Nearing's Living the Good Life, and it impressed me so. And I grew up in Cape May, New Jersey, and my dad was a fisherman. And I said, I want to be a farmer. And land was hard to find in Jersey, so I came here, and I am a farmer. And I love it.
And decades later, you've got your own giant blueberry.
Yeah, this is a good story, too. We built this. There's a picture of my son putting that last hub in on the top over there. We always sold our blueberries from the farm for years, you know. And one day, somebody started bringing these boxes of blueberries up here on a table, like a flea market, and selling them. So, that can't be good for the farm. So Del said, well, put a little farm stand up. And I said, let's build a big blueberry. So we figured it all out. Every weld in here we made ourselves. I stained every piece of wood. We lettered it, numbered it, did it at the farm, brought it up, and we put it together as a big family and friend operation. So, and it's been here for 20 years now. So,
And you're still making jam.
and I'm still making jam. So I'm getting ready to pour this. So I'm going to pour some. I pour it into a kettle first. So these are great blueberries. I'm going to put my.
Do you grow all of your own, or?
Yes, these are all our berries, of course. Isn't that beautiful?
Yes, Marie really is the little woman who lives in a blueberry. The biggest one in Maine for sure. Wild Blueberry Land in Columbia Falls, Maine is about a 90-minute drive east of Bar Harbor and well-known Acadia National Park. To say it's a roadside oddity would be an understatement. This store is part bakery, part gift shop, part ad hoc museum, and is the place to learn more than you ever wanted to know about wild blueberries. Marie will tell you they're much better tasting than the high bush blueberries, the big ones.
So if you look at one of those pies in there, take one out and you hold it up. The other one, take the moose pie. Because that way, this is better. Take that out.
How many pies have you seen that actually have a moose in the pie? They don't joke around here.
Now that pie is all wild blueberry with only a half a cup of sugar in it. And you don't need any more than that. You know, that's all you need. Because they're delicious. If a pie can be healthy, that's a healthy pie.
How more Maine does it get than a blueberry pie with a moose inside? How many blueberries do you eat a year?
Oh, I don't know. Well, we eat a lot. We eat them every day on oatmeal. We have a box like this in the freezer. I keep a measuring cup right in the box, and I just take a cup out every morning, put it right on blueberry, or right on the oatmeal. If you use you don't need anything else. The oatmeal is good. You don't need sugar. You don't need they're so intense.
Do you ever get tired of them?
No, because they're so biodiverse. They're so different. They're not a monocrop. They're just delicious. I don't think anybody could get tired of them. Could you get tired of them?
I don't know. I haven't been living in a blueberry for most of my life. Anything and everything you could possibly make out of wild blueberries, it's on a shelf in this place. Marie and her family farm the berries themselves and do all the work required alone. The past few years, there's been an oversupply of berries. In 2018, farmers big and small decided not to harvest large tracts of land because it wouldn't be profitable. Small farmers compete not only against large wild blueberry processors, but the major companies bringing the big highbush berries into the U.S.
Well, it worries me a lot, yeah, because you see your neighbors. I talked to a neighbor yesterday, tears in his eyes, and says he has to sell the family farm. It's sad. It's just not right. I mean, Washington County's always been hard-working people. You know, it would be no different if it was a lobsterman that have to sell the boats and have to sell their equipment, you know, because they can't make it. It's something that the state of Maine needs to look at, and they need to help. They need to do something for these small growers.
Well, I've had people tell me when I brought them up here for the first time that it looked like Africa, you know, because it's just barren. There's nothing here except for an occasional tree here and there. These fields have been in production for over 100 years. And before that, like I said, the early settlers and the Native Americans were using these fields to harvest blueberries off from.
Homer Woodward is the Vice President of Operations for Wyman's, a large company that freezes and bags Maine wild blueberries. We're in a town called DeBlois, population just 57, about half an hour from Columbia Falls. We're Homer's guests, riding in the black SUV he takes from Maine to Atlantic Canada, where Wyman's has other operations. But Washington County is the place Homer knows best. You might even say he has a wild blueberry bush for a family tree.
I was a little kid. My grandfather and my uncle both had blueberry fields, so that's how we were in my school clothes back when I was a little guy. So that must have been 8, 9 years old. I was out there raking for my grandfather and my uncle.
So you actually know what it's like to do the work?
I do, yeah. I grew up with it. Yeah, it's hard work.
By fall, the wild blueberries are long gone from these fields. They're raked and frozen in August, but the barons are still busy. These tractors around us are pruning the crop for next year. Snow is never far away on the calendar here, and preparation for the coming season is constant. That means steady employment in a region struggling with joblessness. What's a blueberry mean to you?
Well, money, I guess. Mostly, I guess. It's a job. They call it a flail mower. It trims the the bushes down for the winter so you can spray it and stuff for next year. Gets rid of the weeds and stuff till. I've been mowing 30 years. A lot of it was night mowing.
Wait,
That's
sorry,
not so
night
good.
mowing?
Yeah, that's not so good, but.
No? What's that entail?
The same thing as now, except you do it at night from 7 to 7.
Each field gets picked over once every 2 years, a carefully planned and executed operation. Even the mowing lanes you're seeing were plotted out on GPS maps. Do you like to eat them?
I like some of them, yeah. They're all different tasting. Some of them are sweet, some of them are sour. So the sour, I like the sour ones better. I don't know why, it's just because they're all different. There's 5 or 6 different breeds of blueberries.
If you talk about wild blueberries in Down East Maine with a local, there's a good chance they're also going to mention blueberry pie, almost as famous as Maine's ubiquitous whoopie pie. If you're down east talking to a local about blueberry pie, there's a good chance they're going to refer you to this spot, Helen's Restaurant in Machias. An hour and 40 minutes east of Bar Harbor on Route 1, Helen's is a local institution, a good spot to ask people about wild blueberries.
Well, blueberries in Maine are the finest blueberries in the world. We've traveled all over without a doubt because they have the soil that no one else has. Today we came here specifically to have blueberry pie.
How important are these blueberries to everybody around here?
Well, a lot of people, that's their income. For a lot of people, it's mostly, seasonal work, blueberries, fishing, things like that for here, so it's very important.
What is it like in terms of Maine? Is it something that pops into your head when you think
Yes.
of Maine? Do you like the big blueberries? Because these are the smaller blueberries.
I like my blueberries medium-sized,
Ooh, okay. It's very specific.
because if they're too small, they're sour, and if they're too big, they're mushy.
So there's a nice happy medium right in between?
Yes.
What
And
about,
the darker blue ones taste better.
how do you know that they're going to taste better?
Because I raked blueberries all my childhood for school clothes every year. And so you'd sit on a bucket and eat tons of them.
Did you ever get sick of them?
Yes. Yes. But it's what you do when you're a kid that age, I was 9 years old till I was in high school. That's what you do to help out with your school clothes every year. If I worked really hard, I could get the extra something, that I wanted or that I saw somewhere.
What about the blueberry pie at this place?
Oh, it's great. I wouldn't eat anywhere else.
Helen's is the type of place where the lunch special is a burger topped with goat cheese and wild blueberry mustard on a bed of wild blueberry jam, and no, we didn't plan that. Helen's also has a legendary blueberry pie. Standing nearly 2 inches high, these monuments to all that is sweet yet subtly tart are topped by a planet-sized dollop of ice cream.
Just like that.
Look how deflated that is. These apples don't even have any support. Blueberries are a solid foundation, holding up the ice cream.
Where these apples are going, they don't need to.
Yeah, they do.
The wild blueberries in the pie at Helen's are shipped in from this place, 40 minutes away. This is the Wyman's processing facility in Cherryfield, Maine. Millions of wild berries show up here in tote boxes like these. These ones were flash frozen after harvest in summer, then put in the giant cardboard totes. Adam West, unlike the guy who played Batman, is the manufacturing manager for this plant. He is a superhero in his own right, with a uniform, but it's a hairnet and smock.
Go ahead and choose your size, and we'll get buttoned up and ready to go.
I think I'm a medium. You don't have medium here? Small and medium?
Small, that's right, medium to small.
Not only does Adam keep Wyman's employees and their guests smocked and sanitized, he's also responsible for all the berries while they're in the plant.
I'm fourth generation of my family that's worked for this company, so I've seen it from the ground up. I've worked here since I was old enough to come in the plant when I was 16. I've harvested the crop when they were on the field, started raking blueberries at 5, so I think that's why I have such a vast interest also of all the moving parts in the business, is because I've been involved in it since I was 5 years old.
The plant's interior is what I imagine being inside an unused, sealed replacement water filter feels like. It's dimly lit and cold to keep products frozen. You can see your breath in here. It's also super, super clean, almost ominously so. Not only do you have to suds up your shoes, as soon as the lines are shut down for the night, all the conveyors and chutes are cleaned as well.
So how hard is it to keep this thing clean? Is it a lot of work?
Yes, it's very hard. As far as the plant and the lines go, we have 4 guys that come in that clean all 5 of our lines, and we give them 9 hours. They have 9 hours. They come in at 9 o'clock at night. They're done by 5 o'clock in the morning, and 5 to 6, and then we're back up and running at 6 o'clock a week. So this plant here runs 16 hours a day, and then the rest is cleanup time until 6 o'clock.
Wow. And what do they do?
They're sanitizing all the product contact surfaces, the floors, equipment, anything that may come in contact with the food or the floors, the drains. All the plant is completely sanitized.
Adam brought us through the whole packing process, and a lot of it is quality control. First, the ice blocks of berries have to be separated. Then the laser sorting and stem removal happens. After that, it's quality control, with a big manufacturing line for bulk customers like restaurants and a smaller one for bags destined for places like grocery stores.
They're the final set of eyes checking over for any splits or anything at this point in time in the blueberries. This is a set of scales that's weighing out. Currently today we're running a 4-pound bag, so it's weighing out 4 pounds and dropping the blueberries into the bag and sealing the bag up.
So it all happens in one process?
Correct. The blueberries are filtered down through to these individual buckets, and as the buckets open, they're in a sequence, and it will drop different increments to add up to 4 pounds.
Now at the bottom of this, are there different bags for different clients of your guys, or what?
Yes, we do different sizes. We do 3-pound bags, we do 4-pound bags, we do 5-pound bags on this line. This is a retail food service capacity line.
So this is the quality control department,
This is quality. The 2 ladies over here are the final set of eyes before the product gets to the consumer.
A lot of pressure on them.
That's right.
Ugly or inadequate berries are picked out by hand, with about a dozen women, many of them from Mexico or Central America, sifting through fruit racing by on its way to a box or bag. Most of the packing machines are automated, and boxes even get taped up by machine.
Okay, so we got a nice display case, we got the nice robotic arm. This obviously is something cool that we should talk about.
Correct. This is a BPA machine. So what this is doing is 2 bags. There's 8 bags in this case. It's an 8 4-pound box. So what they're doing is it's putting 2 bags into the cassette at a time. It'll pile up 8 bags, and then it will slide the bags into the box. And then the box flips down, and process goes through, and the box passes through the tape machine here.
Now, when you first came in here, was all this stuff like this?
When I took over, yes. But when I first started working here, we used to have 1 line that we converted back and forth, and all these bags were put in by hand, and all the cartons were made by hand. So it's an evolution of technology, and we're bringing more and more technology into the business.
From packaging, it's off to the forklift and a warehouse chilled to -5 degrees Fahrenheit. A chilly final stop for the berries before they're loaded onto trucks and sent back out into the world. That is where we're going. The world. The big wet horizon on the other side of the blueberry barrens. At least in a little bit. Maine does export blueberries in whole frozen form across the globe. But the berries we're concerned about don't go straight on this ship. The ones that ended up on the deck getting battered out there with us were turned into jam in southern Maine. Our next stop on Ship Me Out.